This is the Surly Grognards for November 27th, 2017. Dear God, we're getting near the end of the year, Eric.
So much closer to the end of the orange era.
Not close enough, but we'll get it. That's for another.
That's for another day.
That's for an entirely different type of show. Let's be real.
Yeah, let's be honest.
At any rate, this is the Surly Grognards. As I said, I'm Peter Bowman. That is Eric Carlson. We're your hosts tonight, as always.
Hi, humans.
We are even more disorganized than usual tonight.
Jeez, we are disorganized today.
Yeah, Eric forgot about the show entirely, and I was distracted playing a video game. Oh God, it's about 7 o'clock. I should check with Eric to see if we want to do the show.
I'm sort of like, yeah, we could do that thing that I totally remembered that we had to do.
That we do basically every week.
Yeah.
We're good at this sort of thing.
We are so organized, it is ridiculous.
We are the most professional podcasters in the world.
We really are. You guys should be just bow down to how professional we are. Our professionalism is it's pretty impressive. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. It's tremendous. Oh, God. At any rate, we have no real topic, as I said. For people in the live chat, if you got things you want us to chat about while we're going, feel free to throw it in there, and we'll keep an eye on chat, and we may, I can't promise we'll talk about it, but we'll consider everything for the moment.
Absolutely.
So start things off, just because I was literally playing this right before we started stream. So the Steam fall sale's going on, despite the fact that, it's basically the Black Friday sale, and I think it's still technically going on today.
Right.
So I was good and managed to buy exactly two things, and neither was above $10.
I haven't bought anything yet because I am such a good Eric.
You are very good, Eric. So, but the thing
also not open up Steam today, so
that was smart.
Yeah. So
the thing I picked up that I was playing is a crafting/survival game with zombies. There are about 8 billion of those out there, probably.
Yeah, no shit.
But it's called 7 Days to Die. I've seen a bunch of people streaming it here and there. It's in early access, and apparently has been for, I don't know, since the dinosaurs have been walking the earth. I normally avoid early access games like the plague that they are. But from what I've seen of it on people's streams, it looked pretty functional and fun. Basically you start off basically naked with basically no equipment and have to start build stuff. You have to, and you learn how to make different stuff, and you can, it's a zombie apocalypse type situation. And so you have to the first thing you make is okay, all right, I can make a wooden club. I can make a stone axe. Let's take some plant fibers and weave ourselves something resembling some clothing, so that we don't freeze to death.
No, that's what you want to do. That's the right thing to do.
Maybe make a bow and arrows out of wood, twine, and sticks and rocks and feathers that we find. Yay! And that's where I'm at right now. I played for about 2 hours. I died 3 times. When you die, you respawn. When you die, you can build what's called a bedroll, which you put down, and you'll respawn there when you die.
Okay.
The cool things about it is there is online multiplayer for it, which can be either purely cooperative or not so much cooperative.
Right.
Where you can, kill each other and take each other's stuff. I see the merits of both, honestly.
Pluggings, human.
I can see the merits of both, honestly.
So can I, actually.
Again, I've seen people playing it, and I've seen both, and I think they both look interesting. There's something to the whole sort of, build, it's, that sort of Minecraft-y, Terraria-y, gather stuff to build stuff to, and get better at that so you can build the next tier of stuff to get better at that and build the next tier of stuff. When you combine that with, survival shit of, oh god, I'm starving, oh god, I'm freezing, oh god, there are zombies and wolves and bears and fuck.
Yes.
And the zombies are hard to kill, or at least early on. When you have a wooden club and you're beating a zombie, it takes a while to kill the damn thing.
I can see that.
It's like,
I can. That actually makes sense. Yeah.
Clomp, zombie goes, you're like, clomp. And there are different types of zombies that are big, that are tougher or weaker than each other. I got my ass kicked by a biker zombie.
Awesome.
I dumped like double-digit arrows into him, didn't kill him, but I knocked him down, stunning him. Ran up to clump him on the head while he's stunned, which gives you bonus damage. And he got back up, and I could really keep clomping him on the head, and eventually he hit me a couple of times, and I died. That was embarrassing. I later went back, looted my corpse, and like ran circles around him. So like, I'm not fighting you this time. And then ran into the trader's shop, which door closed, and there's barbed wire around the outer place. And eventually the zombie basically killed itself on the barbed wire.
Ha! Awesome.
The zombies are dumb.
Well, they're zombies.
Yes. It's an interesting little game. And again, part of me wants at some point try actually playing it multiplayer, but I'd probably do a co-op for the reasons of that's me. Let's be real.
Right. I mean, I could see the advantage it being really interesting doing a big server PvP one.
Yep.
Except I just imagine that there would be more assholes than not. Because the whole thing is like when you meet someone, are they an asshole or are they not? Can we team up? Can we work together?
Mm-hmm.
And developing your own little communities and enclaves, and then maybe going to war with other people's enclaves.
Yeah.
Or dealing with raiders and whatnot.
Yeah, one of the streamers I saw playing it, basically the way they did it is they only gave out they had password protected the server they were playing on, and they only gave invites to community members that they felt they could at all trust to not be complete jackholes.
Right.
And they basically said, okay, here's how we're going to run this. We form teams of 3. So like, and we build our stuff, and we go off to various parts of the map and do stuff. And when and if we find each other, we can trade if we want to, or what have you. But like, don't kill your teammates is basically the rule. So you had a few people you could trust, and then you had to work out whether you could trust anybody else. They also had rules like, don't raid someone's base if they're not online.
Right.
That's just a dick move.
That's just a dick move.
And don't overspawn camp. That's lame. But it was neat to see that. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I also, the hilarity of watching some of them playing, just a streamer and 2 of their buddies doing a co-op stream, and some of the because you start getting into Minecraft levels of building bizarre or stupid shit just because you can. I thought it was neat. So I figured on sale it was worth buying. So I did.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So between that, monkeying around with Star Trek Adventures characters because it's an RPG. It's an RPG I've not played before. I've not played it yet. I've been reading the rules, and my brain goes, "But I want to build characters in this." Despite the fact that I'm going to be the game master and not to play my own characters. At least not player characters.
Yeah, I mean, Star Trek Adventures looks like it could be a lot of fun, and I don't know what I want to play in it. Like
there are a lot of possibilities.
The obvious answer is the Klingon security officer because Klingons are awesome. But then you have the idea of the Tellarite engineer or the Tellarite command officer or anything Tellarite, which is also cool.
Sure.
Also, everybody seems to hate Tellarites except for me, which makes me want to play them more.
Yeah, that I've been there, Eric. Why do you think I often want to play elves in games with a lot of people, with certain people in the group?
Yeah.
The contrarian to me goes, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm not, I'm one of the people who's like, I'm not one of the people who falls either side of the dwarf elf thing. I like dwarves and elves both a lot.
Mm.
H.J. Smithium says Tellarite Counselor. That's kind of awesome, actually.
That is kind of awesome.
And actually, they wouldn't necessarily be bad at it. They'd just be a little blunt.
They'd be very good at counseling a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Tell me why you want to fuck your mother. I don't want to fuck my mother. Oh, you don't you? Why then? Why'd you act so badly? Because you told me you want to. I want to fuck my mother. There, you see, you just admitted it.
That's not exactly how it would go, probably, but
yeah, Tellarites are cool, and nobody likes them except for me. So
I think they're fine. I'm not a big fan of their the way they. I'm not. Actually, I'm okay with their design. They're fine.
yeah,
They don't. I don't find them as interesting as I find Klingons, for instance.
yes, no,
or-
Klingons are clearly the superior. Superior.
I find a lot of the Federation races very interesting. Honestly, the Tellarites are among them. Honestly, I like humans in Star Trek. I like humans in most settings.
Andorians are cool.
Yep. I think the Vulcans are neat. Honestly.
The Vulcans are neat when they're not being done to death.
Oh sure.
The Vulcans kind of suffer a bit from overexposure, honestly,
I can see that.
or at least for me.
That's it. I can see that easily. I mean, there are a plethora of other races. You know, the Betazoids. I think I know why I'm not a big fan of the Betazoids. I've never been a big fan of psionic powers just in general.
Yeah, and honestly, the Betazoids are pretty friggin' human, except for the psychic powers.
Yeah, their culture is different.
Not that different. Like I don't really see any big psychological differences between your average Betazoid and your average human.
Well, we haven't had a lot of examples of them in the show. So.
Yeah, we've had
Deanna's half Betazoid.
Yeah, Deanna and her crazy mom.
Her mom's not crazy.
No, she's just like a sort of a.
She's infuriating.
She's infuriating. She's sort of the stereotypical overbearing, trying to be cool mom.
Yeah. Honestly, I actually kind of like Lixana Troy to certain degrees, but a large part of it is watching Picard's reactions to her.
Yes.
See, for crying out loud. The thing is, part of that is I think there's part of Picard who actually admires and respects her, but there's also just he's completely exasperated with her.
Jesus Christ, one. Yes, and Picard's a great character.
Oh, he is. He's one of the best. Oh, you're right. There was that Betazoid serial killer in Voyager.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
HD. Thank you, HD.
Yeah, I remember him now. He wasn't psychic or was always psychic. I can't remember which.
I don't.
Yeah, he had some defect that made him either less psychically capable or more so to the point it drove him crazy. I can't remember which it was.
I don't either. I wish I did. But Voyager was not one of the treks I really focus on for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I do remember he came back in another episode to die saving the ship by basically being Captain Murderfest when the ship got taken over by, I want to say Hirogen?
Okay. I believe it.
It basically goes all John McClane in the Jeffries tubes.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Speaking of Die Hard, actually, I recently found out it's actually in the title crawl, but I didn't remember this, but it's based on a novel.
I vaguely remember hearing that somewhere.
Yeah.
And there was, I remember hearing somewhere that there was issues with getting it filmed because they had to offer the part of John McClane to
Frank
Sinatra first.
Because
Sinatra was in his 80s.
Yes. The thing is that's because the novel is a sequel to another novel which was made into a Sinatra film.
Ah.
And the second book was written as a sequel intending to be made into a movie.
Okay.
main characters are different between the novel and the book. The novel character is apparently a private eye,
Hmm.
and there are differences with the characters in and the ending and stuff.
Right. Well, one of the great things about Die Hard, the one we got, is that it's John McClane's just such a clear everyman.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly because looking at the context in which the movie came out, where we're still like neck deep in like Stallone's and Schwarzenegger movies,
Yep.
which was cool.
Sure. Yeah, Die Hard's a really good movie.
Die Hard's a really good movie.
And Hans Gruber is a great villain.
Yes.
But yeah, back to the Star Trek RPG. I've been really taken by this. I dig the system too. I think it's a neat system. Lots of neat stuff in it. And I'm intending to run it at some point.
Cool. I mean, the obvious answer is we play a Klingon campaign and I get to fly around in a bird of prey and be awesome. But
Eric, what do you think the odds of that happening are, actually?
probably about 30%.
We'll see.
Which is to say, not good odds, but not odds to completely discount.
That's a campaign I could see myself running at some point, maybe.
Mm.
But it does have the drawback that, as much as I like the Klingons and I think they're really cool, I don't know them as well as you do, for instance.
I don't even know them particularly well. I just
Fair point.
like I have not like gone and studied all the gobs and gobs of ink that has been spilled on their culture.
Yep.
Like I mostly just remember them from particularly well from episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Boy. So yeah. Yeah, what else has been going on of note? Not much really. That's his last episode.
Yeah. Let me see here. Thanksgiving happened.
Yes.
I ate turkey.
Mhm.
I finally got around to watching Suicide Squad.
Oh dear.
That movie is an absolute train wreck.
Really? I mean, I've heard
Yeah.
that, but you know.
Like it's clearly just this like bunch of different ideas stitched together, and like very few characters get any characterization. There's no unifying theme to anything. Like you'd think it was like this initially, like first half of the movie, like it's this theme about like different means of control and rebellion, and then that all falls apart at the end of the movie, and for no good reason. Like Harley Quinn is not interesting, and she's potentially the most interesting character out of the whole Motley Crew.
Mm.
But she's just kind of evil pixie dream girl. That's best way to describe her in the movie.
Lovely.
Yeah. And Will Smith, like, bless Will Smith, because he's clearly there like, I should be trying. I know I should be trying. This is going to be terrible, but I need to try. Please let me give enough of a shit to try. It's clearly the thought process going on behind his eyes in every scene he's in.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What I've seen of it has made me go, I'm not gonna watch that movie. Like even more so than
Yeah.
there are a couple of the DC movies I will almost certainly will watch eventually, just to actually watch them. Like,
Right.
I'm intrigued to see exactly how bad Man of Steel actually is from my point of view.
Man of
Um,
S- better than Batman vs Superman.
I'll take your word on that. Uh,
That is damning with the faintest of praise.
right. Uh, but like, there's not enough about Suicide Squad that interests me, even to the point of wanting to see how bad it is. Like, I'm just like, no.
Here's the thing: I could totally see like having a fun grindhouse style romp with a bunch of supervillains off being forced to be good guys. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it seems like they had that idea, and then they decided to turn parts of it into a music video for some reason. And I don't know. It's very messy.
Hmm. Interesting.
Not really. What I'm saying is, it's probably like, oh, it comes across as a giant mess. But if you actually have any like, I can just imagine people in film studies just dissecting this movie forever,
Just see
because I know
how
just enough to see how it could be interesting to dissect.
seeing exactly how not to make a movie.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh dear. Well, I'm sorry you watched it for your own sanity.
Eh,
I guess it could have been worse,
it could have been worse.
as you pointed out. Um,
It wasn't. It wasn't offensively bad. It was just sort of like weirdly, fascinatingly bad, which I guess is better than a lot of other shit. I guess it makes it huh. It actually makes it a good movie in that it was interesting to watch. Is I guess what I'm saying. Just not for the reasons that filmmakers intended.
yeah. Hmm. Well, yeah. I'm not planning on seeing it. So because no.
Right.
Let's see what else has been going on. I mean, really, just I've there really hasn't been much I wanted to track down, and like there hasn't been much of the movies that I really want to see that really had to want to get around to, and been watching the usual
Right.
suspect, the usual sort of things I watch on. I watch, been playing my usual games. Nothing too exciting. It's been a sort of I mean, like in terms of RPGs, nothing's been happening for the past couple of weeks due to the ramp up to Thanksgiving and other stuff. So
Yep. Yeah, the holidays happen basically.
yeah, so yeah,
Let's see here. Other stuff I've seen or done. I also watched the new Independence Day movie
oh,
because
did
my
you?
brothers and I basically had a bad movie night while I was visiting the folks. Um, that was really forgettable. I really don't remember much
Hmm.
about it except for the Tyranid Biotitan at the end.
Okay.
There's for some reason they decided that the aliens are now hive mind, now have a hive mind and have a queen, and they shoot down the queen's ship, and she crawls out of it, and she looks like a one of the old like second edition like Tyranid Biotitans, like the lashing tendrils and the big spider limbs, the giant underslung cannon,
Huh.
and she spends a good portion of that action scene chasing a school bus for
Okay.
reasons. I think it's because she knows Jeff Goldblum is on it.
Okay. Given how much a pain in the ass he's been for the aliens, why not?
Yeah, and eventually it gets blown up by space fighters.
Huh. Independence Day was one of the movies I just sort of wondering why. It's another one of those. Why did you make a sequel movies?
Yeah, yeah. Especially after so long after the fact. Like it's clear you didn't need to make a sequel. You just did because you had money and the rights to do so.
Yeah.
Oh, and Brett Spiner's in it, and he's fun because he's Brett Spiner.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Independence Day was a movie I thought was fun, but not good.
Sure.
So I was always sort of I mean, it's a case of,
Independence Day is a master of the cinematic fuck yeah. Like it's really good at having those moments where you just go, yeah, fuck yeah. And it came at exactly the right time to like stick in people's heads.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was a cheesy summer action blockbuster.
yep. The space aliens.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't any depth to the movie. So
No, not really.
you're there for spectacle and amusing entertainment and some good one-liners and Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Down
And
to
the whole today is the day we fight for our independence, or is our Independence Day, or whatever the line is.
yeah.
That speech is pretty good.
I mean, it had one of the great Jeff Goldblum illogical logic chains of explanation.
Yes.
Which are just the most bizarre thing. I love them. But they happen so often. Why is Jeff Goldblum the guy for this? I mean, he's good at them. They're entertaining. But they're always just like, wait, how did you... What?
I half believe he just improvises them.
I wouldn't be
And they go
shocked.
with it.
I mean, I'll be honest. It dates back to his first dramatic role.
Yeah.
As Reno from... Was it Reno? Yeah, Reno from Buckaroo Banzai. Like, it dates back to Buckaroo fucking Banzai.
Yeah. I don't think he does it in Cronenberg's Fly. I'll have to rewatch it to be sure.
Yeah, I doubt it. Doesn't strike me as a movie where that would work.
Yeah,
at all.
it doesn't strike me as a Cronenberg kind of thing.
But it
But
pops
it's
up.
Goldblum, so who knows?
But it pops up in a bunch of he basically does one in Jurassic Park too.
Yep.
Mind you, it makes a certain amount of sense for his character. And I will say
They
also,
built an entire season of Law and Order around Jeff Goldblum showing up and doing that.
yeah, they did literally. And honestly, that bit of Criminal Intent was actually among the most watchable parts of Criminal Intent.
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
Because Criminal Intent is not a good show.
No.
It's a bad redo of Columbo. It's
considerably less likable
structured like
Columbo.
Columbo.
Yeah. Except that Vincent D'Onofrio is too busy being intense and angry to have this sort of affable clumsiness of Columbo.
Yeah.
It's just one more thing.
Columbo was a great show.
Columbo is awesome.
I mean, D'Onofrio is a good actor, but he's no Peter Falk.
D'Onofrio is a great actor, but that's not his
oeuvre.
That's not his kind of character.
No.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, kudos to him for trying, but it's become clear that he can't swing that kind of character. Meanwhile, the Kingpin.
Oh, he was fantastic as the Kingpin.
He was
God.
fantastic as the Kingpin. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean that. Whew. He was the best part of season. It was either him or Karen Page was the best part of season 1 of Daredevil. Foggy was
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like season 1 of Daredevil better than I like season 2, but it's mainly because I just don't like Elektra.
Yeah. Oh no. I think season 1's definitively better. I think it was had better narrative structure.
Yeah.
It was a one cohesive plot. I mean.
Yeah, well, season 2 has 2, basically. One of which is really interesting because you're using the Punisher and what he's best at as a contrast to another hero and how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was somehow magic ninjas are boring, and Elektra, who is
Elektra.
boring. Like, just very boring.
I know. Like, seriously, how do you make this character... Like, I have never liked Elektra in, like, any format. Um, and but like seriously, how is Electra as a character as dull as she is?
I don't know.
I will say the Tick did the best send up of Electra ever.
Yes.
Oedipus is one of my absolute favorite characters. She is great. Well, the Tick is great. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah, the tick is amazing.
Oedipus, that's a terrible name. Yeah, blame my parents.
Yep, blame my parents.
Such a good gag.
It really is.
Boy. Oh man.
Electra. I just.
Yeah, I know. Hey, but at least the original season 2 wasn't Iron Fist.
Jesus Christ, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 2 episodes into that. I was just like, nope, nope. I hate Danny Rand. I hate him so much. I want him to die. Just stop existing, Danny Rand. You're terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Let's
He
see.
gets better in Defenders.
Not hard.
It's like
I should watch Defenders at some point.
Defenders is not the best of the Marvel Netflix shows, but it's by no means bad. It's just not Jessica Jones or
Well, it's not one of the 3 really good ones.
yeah, it's not one of the 3 really good ones.
Um,
It's just clear that they thought they had something awesome with Elektra and Iron Fist, and they're like, oh crap. I guess our best stuff is Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, so we need more of them, but we can't completely rewrite the plot of the series. So, yeah.
all right. There are a couple. We got a couple of questions in the chat that I want to go over.
Oh, cool.
Before we get too long, Razor Red writes: "Is it possible? What are your thoughts on making a RPG storyline as if you're playing the Command and Conquer Brotherhood of Nod versus the Global Defense Initiative? Let's see what the life of adventure was like that through the perspective of a group of players, not as a strategy game." I wish I could answer that better, but I've not played any of the Command and Conquer games.
Yeah, I don't. I have no point of reference. It's
Me
a
neither.
shame. Brotherhood of Nod sounds awesome.
But I honestly know almost nothing about it.
It's a good name. That's about what I've got.
So I wish I could give you more on that. It sounds like you're talking about from what I understand about Command and Conquer, it's it's an RTS. So I mean,
Right.
you're talking about a military campaign. Those are doable. I just don't know enough about the factions in question to be able to say what that would be like and how doable it would be.
Yeah. I'm more into RTSs than Peter is, but you really have to be obviously sci-fi or fantasy for me to actually pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Command and Conquer is pretty sci-fi.
Yes, but Command and Conquer does not have giant bug monsters or space orcs.
Fair point. Next one is from Wrathbreakers. How would you handle making an XCOM tabletop campaign? Ooh.
Ooh.
Well,
Well, that ties into basically doing a version of a military campaign. Again.
well, yeah, obviously.
Okay. First question is, how do we get me into a mech suit?
It'd be
Like,
doable.
like, how do I start with that? Because that's the real question here.
I mean, it depends on how you want to handle the campaign, I guess. I mean, do you want to be able to? Do you want to? My gut feeling is the interesting way to run the campaign to be structuring a lot like the way XCOM is structured. With starting off with you are basically slightly better tech than we currently have. Normal human soldiers. When aliens invade, and you go out and do stuff, and you've got people who are good at science. My gut feeling is that the player characters to be more competent than your average XCOM trooper, and would have more depth to them. So, you would actually some of them would have some scientific leanings and be able to help sort of direct XCOM into a more direct XCOM sort of tech choices and such.
My first thought is basically you start out playing a strike team, and as you go on, you start realizing like that maybe XCOM Command doesn't have the best interests of humanity at heart.
Possibly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and doing like the playing at the whole like weirdness of that. 'Cause if I remember correctly, some of the tech choices require you to do some morally questionable things to achieve them.
oh sure, almost certainly. But yeah, there's a lot to mind there. In terms of doing it mechanically, you most
Basically,
I,
any modern or near modern system will work.
yeah, I mean, I think you would want one with reasonably gritty combat at a gut
Yeah,
feel, just to get that feel of, it's easy to have a character put. I wouldn't want it to be super insta lethal, like super realistic, because you want the player characters to actually, want to get in fights.
right. My thought is maybe GURPS, or maybe even Cyberpunk 2020.
Something along those lines would work. Something along those lines would work. I mean, there's the advantage to games like GURPS or Hero System, where you can sort of get some of the, for players who are sort of who coming in from XCOM, can get some of that tactical feel. You know, the feel of playing a tactical game in combat at least. Might make it easier for them. That
Well,
said,
the reason why I'm thinking Cyberpunk 2020 is they have the whole archetype system with like techs and rocker boys and solos.
oh
And,
sure,
like,
absolutely,
I mean, some of those aren't going to be appropriate. Like, I don't think a rocker boy is going to make a lot of sense in XCOM.
sure. But I mean, you could easily build like for Hero System. You could build you could have design
Templates.
package deals and templates and
Yeah.
such to sort of say, okay, your player character is you want to be a heavy. Okay, here's the heavy template chunk. This is the base stuff that you get as a heavy weapons officer, a heavy weapons trooper. Fill the rest in as you want to for your particular character. And systems like that have the advantage that you can the GM can easily craft the aliens that they want to craft.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that with any system. You can hodgepodge up enemies as you see fit as a game master, but
Something tells me D20 Modern, despite having never played it, might be a good, or Savage Worlds rather, might be a good way to delve in that too.
Sure, yeah, those D20 Modern would probably work pretty well actually, despite my general not liking of D20.
Right.
But I think it would actually work reasonably well. Savage Worlds probably would work well too. Yeah. Basically, most Universal / near future games would work pretty well. I think
Yeah.
as a core
Absolutely.
for it. I'm actually a little surprised there hasn't been a D20. There wasn't a D20 XCOM supplement.
Yeah. Same here.
Actually, let me just double check to make sure that there isn't one.
To be fair, I think XCOM is pretty much out of the public consciousness when during the glut of D20 everything.
There are a bunch of homebrew ones on the web, which
Right.
totally doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of. I'm just going to do a quick Google search, and there are a lot of like, how would you do XCOM as a tabletop role playing game? And unsurprisingly, D20 Modern actually shows up in a bunch of them. To be completely honest.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
But yeah, Hero and GURPS would be obvious ones. There are a bunch of there are a bunch of. And I'm certain there are systems out there that I'm not that cognizant of that would probably make pretty good ones. But yeah, I think that would be quite doable, honestly. As I said, it would probably end up being. Eric's right. It'd be a military themed game, obviously, because
Yeah.
But there comes down to the sort of as players of a strike team, how long do you? I mean, how well do you zen with with what the choices that command is making, and you've got the issues of. I mean, you're also seeing what the aliens are doing, and if you're following the modern XCOM game storylines, you've got human collaborators, and eventually the fall of XCOM Command, and the aliens taking over the world. Honestly, XCOM 2 in some ways might be a better starting point for some campaigns, as the resistance, as the guerrilla resistance against the aliens who have taken over.
That could be pretty cool, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that might actually be, I can totally see the why you defending against the invasion is definitely a cool campaign. I think it would be kind of fun, but I think I think for a role playing campaign, the acting as the guerrilla resistance trying to take back the Earth might be a better sort of. It might make for a more satisfying campaign, I think. Also, again, it's rare that you have campaigns where the bad guys have won.
Yeah.
And you're coming in after that. And I do find that interesting.
And playing the resistance is always fun.
Also, your base is basically a helicarrier in XCOM 2, so that's always cool.
Yeah, helicarriers are always cool, as are war zeppelins.
Oh, Beck in the chat mentions, heck, have the first session be the fall of XCOM. Yeah. So yeah, like the first session is basically seeing XCOM being attacked and seeing how many people you can get out and survive, realizing that you're going to lose and have to actually survive as opposed to actually win the fight and actually forming the underground.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see that. Yeah, that sounds like a great campaign, honestly.
Yeah. You've just signed up with XCOM, you're doing stuff, and then aliens attack the base. And you're like, whoa, this is not good.
Whoa. I'm not even finished with my first day training here, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea actually a lot. Wrathbreaker says free to do it for the stream. I'm not sure it's something I personally would be good at game mastering. Personally, also I've got a lot of other campaign ideas that I've got to get to first. Yeah. Now, so at any rate, yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. No,
Out of curiosity, Eric, just sort of popped
Yeah.
in my head. Are there any other sort of computer games that you can think of that you think would be interesting things to adapt into a tabletop RPG? We've talked about some of these before. Like, okay, first off, we're not going to talk about Mass Effect as a tabletop RPG. We've talked about that to death, and we're both shocked that it doesn't actually already exist. Done. All right.
Well, you just shot the one I was going to say in the foot.
Well, we talked about that for like half an episode at one point.
But it's awesome, and I want to be a Krogan.
I know, but
another possibility could be doing StarCraft, actually.
yeah.
I could see I could see some really interesting stuff to be done, being like the Terrans out on the fringe, dealing with the Zerg, with both the Zerg incursions, the Protoss being crazy Protoss guys, and the Earth Confederacy being jerkwads, and basically just trying to keep your heads down and get by. And yeah, I could see that being cool.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that.
All the ones that Deus Ex is basically just Cyberpunk 2020.
It is. It's Cyberpunk 2020. I mean,
Um,
largely, not. It is very clearly influenced by Cyberpunk. Let's be real.
yeah, and if Gibson were dead, he would be rolling in his grave, but not because it would be bad. Um, let me see here. Other video game. Here's the thing: a lot of them are so influenced by RPGs in general, like Legend of Zelda. That's D&D. There's a particular flavor of D&D. I'm drawing a blank. I'm not terribly creative today.
Let me take a look at my Steam list. Let me see if there's anything that pops up in here that I think would be notable.
Because
Honestly, no, that wouldn't work too well. I was sort of thinking maybe the Half-Life setting, especially when the Covenant are actually taking over. But is it the Covenant?
Yeah.
I think it's Covenant. I forget what they're called now. Damn it! I think it's the Covenant. It's been too long since I played any of the Half-Life stuff.
the Combine.
Combine. That's it. Thank you. Maybe BioShock.
Yeah, I was thinking BioShock might be pretty interesting to do. The first one because the second, because Infinite is really cool and interesting, but yeah, I think dealing with the whole alternate reality craziness gets a little too crazy.
I mean, it's mineable. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, Borderlands maybe. A
fucking Borderlands.
A campaign set in
Borderlands
Pandora. Like, I wouldn't have thought you could actually make a good campaign, like RPG campaign, until I played Tales from the Borderlands, and now I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, no, Borderlands. Well, Jesus Christ. Yeah, totally Borderlands. Why didn't I think of Borderlands?
I don't know.
Yeah, I could totally see doing Borderlands. That'd be great.
I'm intentionally skipping over the ones that are actually RPGs in my list.
Yeah.
Like the Divinity Original Sin games. No, they're already RPGs. Well, yeah, Paper Mario is an RPG already, though, Beck. So but I mean, I guess the Paper Mario RPGs. If you could, I don't know how you'd adapt the actual mechanics of that, though. Well, actually, no. I'm not skipping over all the RPGs. Like so Divinity Original Sin might be an okay setting. There already
Fallout might be interesting.
Well, yes, Fallout. An actual Fallout RPG would be interesting. Yes.
Yes.
If you're into post-apocalyptic settings, there's a lot of stuff you can mine in Fallout. Mind you, the original system they were going to use for Fallout, the original Fallout, for the backbone of actually making your character in it, was originally going to be GURPS. So Mega Man maybe Wrathbreaker. Dragon Age Origins already has one, so skip that. I'm sort of going through my list of games here.
The Witcher.
Yeah, actually, an RPG set.
The Witcher could actually be really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, hell.
Especially if I don't have to deal with that fucking combat system from 2.
Well,
I haven't played 3 yet.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why we didn't think of this, but the Elder Scrolls settings. The Elder Scrolls setting.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Tamriel would be an interesting world to have an RPG set in, honestly. And there are a bunch of different eras you could pick from that have different political setups. So I mean,
yep, yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if there actually is one. I don't know. Looking through my list of stuff.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls would actually be pretty damn good.
Elder Scrolls would be it's a fairly typical fantasy setting.
Yeah.
Castlevania, interesting.
Yeah, Castlevania could be pretty cool.
I could see that.
Because I'm totally down with Vampire Hunters.
Yeah, Vampire Hunters are cool. Let's be real. Actually, you could do an interesting campaign where you are basically playing test subjects at Aperture. Portal would be interesting in some ways, having to deal with
Mm,
GLaDOS. You might have to tune things a little bit differently, but you could do something interesting with that.
yeah.
There might be something there. Uh, oh Jesus, a Secret World RPG. Like,
Yeah, but there are already several systems out there that pretty much do that. Um, Ones that immediately spring to mind are Cult and Call of Cthulhu.
mhm. Yeah, possibly. I mean, there's elements of it, but you, you're missing some of the structure of the. Also, Call of Cthulhu would not handle Secret World the way Secret World does stuff.
That's true. Yeah,
It's too
because you're
gritty.
expected to actually like deal with the things as opposed to get turned into a gibbering wreck. Right.
Yeah, it's a setting like that, except that you're actually it's
Yeah.
it's a weird it's sort of a weird superhero campaign, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Beck's not bad either. It's sort of essentially be Dresden Files to a certain degree. I can see that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be really Dark Side Dresden Files is what it would be.
But yeah, it's doable. Definitely doable. There's no question about that. Let's see. Anything else of note that I've got in here? I'm sort of scrolling through my lengthy list of Steam games. Uh,
Left 4 Dead.
eh.
Mordheim might be pretty interesting actually.
Well, I mean it's already you could do a Mordheim type campaign just using Warhammer Fantasy Battle Roleplay. I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
that's just there. I'm looking at settings I was looking for settings that are not already.
Oh, we could totally do Shadowrun.
You mean the
Looking
game?
at Shadowrun Returns.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, okay, and that's already got an RPG, and that's already got an RPG. But yeah, I mean, as always, there are lots of places you can mine ideas for tabletop campaigns from. Lots of places, and video games are a good source for some.
Yeah.
That got that the don't know God Eater personally, Wrathbreaker. But yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen God Eater. It's on my list because God Eater was done by Ufotable, who are just really good animators. So even if it's crap, I'll totally check it out.
yeah. But yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of video games I scrolled by that just didn't click with me that probably could do something interesting with. But yeah, there's some good stuff out there. Fable? Maybe, I don't know. Although, that got me thinking. It'd be interesting to do a campaign set in the Fable setting, from the graphic novel
Mm.
series that was made into.
Oh yeah. That
Like
could be really cool.
playing one of the people one of the Fables would be interesting.
Yeah,
There are a lot of fairy tale characters that actually be interesting RPG characters, especially when you've got to take sort of a more modern twist on them, like adapting to the modern world.
that could be really cool.
Thief, the thief setting. Actually, the thief setting's actually got a lot of cool stuff in it. Beck, you're right. I like that. I'm not sure this campaign setting I'd want to run in, but I could definitely see it being interesting. Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, there are a lot of settings that you can mine for ideas. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That question sort of popped in my head after answering the two questions in the chat about adapting two different strategy games into RPGs.
Mm.
And I'm still gobsmacked that there isn't a Mass Effect tabletop RPG.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of fan made ones that seem pretty moderately official, like
sure.
they're. But yeah, seriously, what the fuck? It seems like such an obvious license to make a game for.
Yeah, that's yeah, true. Beck's got a point. We missed the obvious one, Final Fantasy. I mean, it's based on D&D, but I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
there isn't a an actual Final Fantasy RPG. But I mean,
Well,
honestly,
the thing is, they change so much from game to game. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but I mean, you
yeah,
can build you can simulate a lot of the way our Final Fantasy operates in most versions of D&D and any one of the Final Fantasy subsettings.
right.
Uh, so yeah, and honestly, you could do most. As I said, you can do most of them and just pick an edition of D&D, and you can probably do it in it. I would say you'd be better off picking anything after from third ed on. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Don't do second.
no. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I think a lot of it can be fairly interesting. But yeah, I do think the Fall of XCOM campaign would be definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good one.
I mean, yeah, HT Smithium mentioned Armored Core also.
Yeah, Armored Core. Damn. Just because mechs are awesome.
Yeah, I know. Giant robots are pretty freaking awesome. There's not much.
Giant robots are the awesomest.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff out there you can. I mean, we've talked about this many times that you can mine an RPG concept from almost anything.
Yes.
TV, movies, comic books, video games, the news. Um, and I mean, hell, just taking or hell combining a bunch taking concepts from several different settings and smushing them into one, or taking a setting and changing its genre is one of the classic
Yeah.
tricks. I mean, it's done in movies all the fucking time. Uh, like, just look at the Seven Samurai and how many different settings that's been adapted into.
Yeah, no shit.
Feudal Japan into a western into space. Thank you, Roger Corman. God, that movie's so silly. Battle Beyond the Stars is just so silly.
So what you're saying is that we should totally do Videodrome, but high fantasy.
I guess that could be done. But why would you?
I got a soft spot for that movie.
That's fine. It's totally fine. But no. Uh, that's actually interesting. All right, Eric. All
You
right.
okay?
So yeah, I just had another question for you, and for possibly the the chat for they got ideas. Pick a
Okay.
movie slash whatever concept and genre shift it for an RPG campaign that you can think of that you think would be actually interesting.
Okay. What about
Because
I mean, an obvious one would be to do Alien and Fantasy.
yeah, yeah, that'd be you could do that.
In fact, you could just do it in D&D and replace the alien with a displacer beast. Would work really well.
Yeah, that'd be a good adventure at least. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much. I mean, you
How
could
much
probably,
for a campaign? Yeah.
but for an adventure, that's actually or a lengthy adventure, it'd be an interesting one.
Let me see here. What else could you do? Guess you could do. Ooh, Invasion of the Body Snatchers for a fantasy.
That's actually that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers for fantasy. That could be that could be really interesting and fun and paranoid. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely could work. I like that. Um,
Same token, you could do Blade Runner for anything other than sci-fi. Like for fantasy, you're hunting homunculi. As an idea. Um, Keep on doing sci-fi to fantasy.
well, I mean, it's a classic way to go. Like
Yeah.
a friend of ours in the chat suggests Dan suggested Starship Troopers in fantasy.
Yeah.
Uh, that worked very well. I mean, a lot of military stuff will translate
Yeah.
easily. Honestly, War of the Worlds in fantasy could be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. For both Body Snatchers and War of the Worlds, I have images of Mind Flayers being the main antagonists.
Oh, yeah, just yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Beck also mentions with Alien, the Lithids being the baddies also, just make the
Yeah.
transmission into Lithid faster. Um, there's a lot of weird stuff that you could do. I mean, hell,
I mean, you could do
just shifting an RPG like setting, like Call of Cthulhu in fantasy, would be interesting too.
Call of Cthulhu in a Western.
Ooh,
I mean, I know that's pretty much like Deadlands, but tell me that doesn't sound awesome.
yeah. I mean, they're just a bunch, but like, let's see. I don't know. I mean, moving stuff out of fantasy might be interesting too. Like,
Yeah. Like doing a film noir version of The Hobbit.
yeah, or
I
I
guess
was
it'd be less film noir and more like beat because it's you got the whole like road trip thing going on. Then you can get Kerouac involved.
I was sort of thinking a sci-fi Lord of the Rings almost.
mm,
Um, be space opera, but
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, especially in RPG. Uh,
The Blues Brothers for fantasy or
or actually,
sci-fi.
sci-fi Blues Brothers is a comedy campaign that would
Yeah.
be interesting. Uh, yeah, I mean, there are hosts of them.
Man, the film noir friggin' The Hobbit just sounds great. Just some guy who's just like it's totally roped in by this fixer to go hang out with these mobsters and go on this road trip to get this guy. Oh man.
oh, Eric. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Take some of the basic concepts from The Hobbit and plunk it into Shadowrun, man.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Then you really are stuck with 13 dwarves.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, Clockwork Orange in the chat's right. The Hobbit's basically a heist story. I mean,
Yeah.
which I think would work really well in a like you're the party of the Hobbit especially like the party of Shadowrunners gets hired by these people to basically to go retrieve something from literally a dragon.
Yeah, yeah. Make it one of the big scary ones like Hestaby or Loftware if you hate them. Make it Loftware if you hate them.
I mean, so it's not a complete genre shift, but it's definitely a genre shift.
Yeah, yeah. Suddenly you've got drones and cybertech and all other shit in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different stuff you could do that'd be interesting.
Blade Runner Fantasy seems pretty interesting too, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you're hunting homunculi who have run from the Wizards Guild, I guess, and trying to blend in with society. But yeah, and then you can bring up all sorts of interesting things like, wait a minute, if they really are just purpose-built flesh golems effectively, then why are they running away? And yeah, that could be pretty cool. Problem is, you have to eliminate them because they go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
The Matrix in fantasy. Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, because then you've got like the skipping between basically like the say the ethereal plane and meat space.
Yeah. That could be interesting. Oh, man. Actually, doubling
Or
back.
even like
Sorry.
probably a better example would be like say fairy because you know the Matrix is a better version is supposed to be the nice version compared to compared to the blasted hellscape.
Right. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, bopping back as an aside, bopping back over to the video games thing we were talking about. What video games can you think of to make an interesting RPG setting? I think you could
Mm-hmm.
do something interesting with the setting of the Star Control setting. Honestly,
Mm.
just because there are a lot of really interesting alien races in it, and there's a big bad threat, etc. And the big threat are actually really interesting villainous aliens. The
Yeah.
Urquan are among my favorite villains out there.
Yeah.
Plus, a Spathy player character would be fucking hilarious.
I will destroy you. Please don't hurt me.
Beck's like, but we already talked about Mass Effect. Yeah, except that as much as I do like Mass Effect, and I do think the Krogan are pretty cool. Eric loves the Krogan. I personally think a lot of the alien races in Star Control are actually more compelling than a lot of the alien races in Mass Effect.
You think so? 'Cause I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of interesting stuff to mine in Mass Effect for an
sure there
RPG.
is, but I'm
I
and
mean, like I really find like the like maybe not so much the council races, but like the Hanar or the what are they called?
the Elcor.
The Elcor, yeah.
Oh no, they're a bunch of, again. There's literally no argument for me on that Mass Effect would make a great tabletop RPG, and I'm shocked that there isn't an official one, as I've said. But like God, I love the alien, a lot of the alien races in Star Control. I mean, they're just, and yet part of it is that it's funny, but you can take all of them a lot more seriously if you want to. It's just
Right.
I mean, you've got like Sark, you've got like it's like you can even get to the point where you pick the era, so you don't actually have to have wiped out the Andersynth, who are basically replicants who successfully broke away from Earth and have a real grudge against humanity,
Mm.
and have better tech.
I mean, hell, you could just play the Spathy like a freaking space Skaven. Basically, what they are.
Uh, yeah, to a degree. I mean, they don't posture as much as the Skaven do,
Right.
and they mostly just want to be left alone.
Okay.
Um, you've got them. You've got the unbelievably insidiously, almost cartoonishly evil Ilrath. Death spiders in space with ships with cloaking devices. They're just gloriously cartoonishly evil. You've got the Thredash, who were very clearly inspirations for parts of the Krogan.
Right.
Except the Thredash are just they're a species who are so brutal and into combat that they have nuked themselves back into the Stone Age multiple times.
It happens sometimes.
Oh God, you haven't actually played through Star Control 2, have you, Eric?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is sort of like, okay, I'll take your word on it.
Yeah, you've heard me talk about some of them, like, and God help me, like the Urquan are among just. I've told you
Yes.
the Urquan story, so I mean.
Yeah, oh yes, the Urquan are great. Don't get me wrong. The Urquan sound freaking amazing, and they were sort of my first thought is like, that's something I want to play that Peter won't let me.
Oh God, but yeah, yeah. At any rate, I mean, we could go on doing this forever.
Yeah. Easily.
But I think we've sort of, and while we keep going this forever, we kind of mind we're going to get into circling back to things repeatedly. And we're sort of running at about our usual length of show, so.
And my brain's slowly falling out of my head.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That's it. Another good reason to wrap things up then. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for tonight for the show. Bit of a sort of a ending, but we didn't have a planned episode for this week, so yeah. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for the live audience. You guys gave us a lot of cool feedback. Yeah, as an aside, Beck mentioned this path. They have none of the sadism of the Skaven.
Yeah, that's true.
They're driven by they're cowards who are driven by survival instinct, not like desire to conquer anything.
Right.
Which drove them to go from Bronze Age technology to Atomic Age technology in about a century. Yikes. Anyways, that's going to wrap things up for this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We generally save time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We ran through most of the viewer questions we had last episode when we did the Q&A thing. But if you have questions for us, please do email them to us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com, or you can post them in the comments on YouTube. We keep an eye on that stuff, so just let us know, and we'll see if we can work them into a show. Similarly, if you got show topic suggestions, oh God, do we love those? Please send them to us.
Oh yeah.
So if there's a topic you think we could cover for like an entire episode, let us know. Even if it's something we've covered at least in part at some point in the past, it might spark an idea for an episode. So send them to us, same places, surlygrognards@yahoo.com, or comment on the recording. Additionally, if you've got constructive criticism for us, we love feedback. We'd like to know ways we can make the show better. Please do let us know. And that's that. We record the show most Monday nights, starting at roughly 7 p.m. Eastern here on twitch.tv/MechaGM.
Words are hard.
Yeah, they are. I tweet out when the show is going to be going live. Just keep it on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @MechaGM. But yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll be back next week with something.
Probably Gunbuster, actually.
I think next week we might actually be doing 3-minute anime. Gunbuster is flying by quickly, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Keep on gaming.
Bye.